Right now, at this exact moment, someone is staring at their phone, waiting for you to react, and you are not, and it's destroying them. I'm talking about someone who is a little annoyed. I'm talking about someone who is passing. Someone who keeps picking up their phone and putting it back down. Someone who's been replaying the last thing they said to you over and over, trying to figure out why it did not land the way it always used to. Because it always used to work. The dig, the comment, the little provocation designed to pull a reaction out of you. It always worked. You always responded. You always defended yourself. You always gave them exactly what they were fishing for. And then, this time, you just did not. You stayed silent. And that silence just ended the whole game. You probably noticed it, the way the energy shifted after you stopped responding, the way they start trying harder, the way the little jabs got more obvious, more desperate, like someone turning up the volume on a radio that already broken. That's not your imagination, that's real. Let me be really specific about what's happening here, because I don't think you fully understand the power of what you just did. For a long time, you were the easy target, not because you were weak, because you cared. You cared about being understood. You cared about setting the record straight. You cared about not being seen as a bad guy. And also, every time someone misrepresented you, twisted your words, painted you as something you were not, you jumped into to correct it. You explained, you defended, you clarified over and over and over. And here is what nobody tells you. Every single time you reacted, you handed them the script. You showed them exactly which buttons worked. You taught them how to control you. Your reaction was the currency. Your reaction was the whole game. And then you stopped paying. You just stopped. Think of specific moment. Maybe it's a week, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe it's a last night. They said something designed to get under your skin. Something that 6 months ago would have had you typing a 3-paragraph response, deleting it, retyping it, your heart pounding, your face hot. But this time you read it, and you felt that all pull, that all urge to defend yourself. And then you just set the phone down. You did not respond. You made some tea. You went to bed. You let it sit there unanswered, hanging in the air like a question there is still waiting on. And that silence did something to them that no argument ever could. Here is what most people don't understand about people who provoke. They don't actually want a fight. They want a reaction. The reaction is just the delivery system. What they're really after is the proof that they still have access to you. that they can still reach inside and move something around. Your anger told them they had power. Your defense told them they mattered. Your explanation told them you still cared what they thought. And your silence tells them nothing, and nothing is the one thing they cannot handle. Because nothing means they lost the threats. Nothing means they can't predict you anymore. Nothing means the person they thought they had figured out has become a closed door, and they're standing outside it without no key. You probably noticed how they start acting differently, reaching out through other people, bringing your name up in conversations they think will get back to you, posting things that are clearly aimed at you but vague enough to deny. That's not power, that's panic. They are not doing that because they are winning. They are doing that because they lost control of the narrative and they are scrambling to get it back. And then something shifted in you. You felt it, even if you could not name it. The first time you stayed silent, it was hard. You had to physically resist the urge to respond. Your whole body wanted to defend itself. It felt like letting them win. It felt like letting them get away with it. But then the second time was easier. And the third time you barely felt the pull at all. Because you discovered something. You discovered that your silence was not weakness, it was the loudest thing you ever said. You have not become someone colder. You become someone clearly. You just stopped mistaking your reaction for your power. You used to think that defending yourself was standing up for yourself, but it was not. It was bending towards them. It was letting them set the terms. It was agreeing to play a game where they made the rules. And the moment you stopped explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you, you took back everything. Let me be really specific about what they're feeling right now. Not what they're saying, what they're actually feeling. They're feeling exposed because your silence is a mirror. When you stopped reacting, they were suddenly left alone with their own behavior, and there was nothing to bounce it off of. No reaction to justify it, no fight to make it feel mutual. Just them and the thing they did sitting there in the quiet. They're feeling anxious. The kind of anxious where you check your phone constantly. The kind where you reread your own messages wondering if you went too far. The kind where you start to wonder if maybe, just maybe, you misjudged the whole situation. They're feeling small because the power they thought they had over you turned out to be borrowed. It was never really theirs. It was something you were giving them every time you reacted. And now that you stopped giving it, they realize how little they actually had. And underneath of all it, there's feeling something they will never ever admit out loud. They're afraid of you now, not afraid that you'll attack them, afraid because they can't read you anymore, afraid because you become unpredictable in the most uncertain way possible. You are become calm, and calm people who used to be reactive are the most terrifying people in the world to someone who relied on that reactivity. Here is what nobody tells you about this kind of power. It does not announce itself. It does not make speeches. It does not need the last word. It just sits there, quiet and immovable, and lets everyone else exhaust themselves, trying to provoke it. You are not being cold, you are being wise. You are not ignoring them out of spite. You are protecting your peace. You are not staying silent because you don't have anything to say. You are staying silent because you finally understand that not everything deserves your voice. Some people don't get access to your world anymore. They lost that privilege when they showed you that only use your words against you. So, let them wonder what you are thinking. Let them stew in the silence. Let them refresh their phones waiting for erection that is not coming. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them a reaction. You don't owe them the satisfaction of knowing they got to you. Let them sit in it. Here is what you need to hear, and I need you to really let this land. The silence you are keeping is not avoidance. It's not you being passive. It's not you being weak or scared or unable to stand up for yourself. It's the opposite. It takes enormous strength to stay silent when every instinct in your body is screaming at you to defend yourself. It takes real power to watch someone misrepresent you and not jump in to correct it. It takes a kind of self-trust most people never develop to let people think what they're going to think and just keep living. You developed it quietly, without anyone noticing, including yourself. And now you are standing in place where their words can't reach you anymore, where their provocation land on nothing, where their entire strategy, the one that used to work every single time, just stops working. That's not luck. That's not them giving up. That's you becoming someone who can't be moved. Let them keep trying. Let them turn up the volume. Let them get more obvious, more desperate, more transparent. Every time they escalate, they're showing everyone watching exactly who they are. And every time you stay calm, you're showing everyone exactly who you are. The contrast is doing all the work now. You don't have to say a thing. Here is what's coming. And I want you to pay attention because this is the part that matters. They're going to escalate one more time, maybe a few more times, because people who lose control don't lose it gracefully. They push harder right before they give up. It's the last gasp of a strategy that's already dead. And you're going to do what you have been doing. Nothing. Beautiful, powerful, peaceful, nothing. And then one day you are going to notice that the provocation have stopped. The jabs have gone quiet. The desperate attempts to pull you back into the game have faded out. Because they finally understood the game is over. You're not playing anymore, and the game with only one player is not a game at all. And it's that quiet. You are going to feel something you have not felt in a long time. Peace. Real peace. The kind that does not depend on anyone else's behavior. The kind that comes from knowing you can't be manipulated anymore because you stopped handing people the tools. New people are going to come into your life. People who don't need to provoke you to feel connected to you. People who don't test you, don't poke at you, don't try to get a rise out of you. People who just let you become, and that calm is going to feel like home. You did this not by fighting, not by winning an argument, not by having the last word. You did this by staying silent, by trusting yourself, by finally understanding that the most powerful response is sometimes no response at all. They thought you silent meant that they won. They thought you had nothing left to say. They thought you finally given up. But your silence was never surrounded. Your silence was the sound of you taking your power back. And they terrified now because they are realizing they were never really in control. You were just being kind. You were just being patient. You were just giving them chances they did not deserve. And the moment you stopped, they saw the truth. The power was always yours. You were just choosing not to use it. You are using it now, and it's the quietest, strongest thing you've ever done. So stay silent, stay calm, stay exactly where you are. You don't need to win, you already have. I am so proud of you, proud of your restraint, proud of your peace, proud of the quiet, unshakable strength it took to put the phone down and let the silence do the talking. They never saw it coming, but you did. You know, you knew somewhere deep down that the loudest thing you could ever do was say nothing at all. And now they're terrified and you are free. Welcome to your peace. Welcome home. Love you. Stay calm.